Spain won the final with one extra-time goal, but this story began centuries earlier. Spain once ruled the land that became Argentina. Today, an ocean separates two equals, but 5 centuries of history still connect them. How did an imperial frontier break free, build a nation, and challenge its former ruler on football's greatest stage? The answer follows 3 clues: a river, a silver legend, and a broken map. This land was never empty. Before Spain, diverse indigenous societies farmed, traded, and governed across the region, especially in the Andean northwest. Guarani peoples lived beside great rivers. Across the Pampas and Patagonia, other nations defended lands Spain claimed but rarely controlled. Imperial maps looked solid. Real power clustered around towns, forts, missions and roads. Much of the south remained under indigenous sovereignty. Argentina was not discovered. It emerged through conquest, resistance, negotiation, migration and war. In 1516, Juan Díaz de Solís entered the estuary now called the Rio de la Plata. Then came a rumor. A silver mountain stood upriver. The treasure was real, but the map was wrong. Its source was Andean Potosi. The error survived. Rio de la Plata means river of silver. Argentina comes from Argentum, distant treasure named a nation. Without local silver, the river mattered, a gateway inland and a barrier to Portuguese expansion from Brazil. Founded in 1536, Buenos Aires was abandoned. Juan de Garay established it permanently in 1580. Yet Buenos Aires remained an imperial backwater, ruled through Lima. Wealth and authority followed Potosi and Pacific routes, not the rising Atlantic port. Imperial trade rules squeezed Buenos Aires, so merchants smuggled. Meanwhile, Pampas cattle fueled an economy of hides, meat and Atlantic access. In 1776, Spain created the Viceroyalty of the Rio de la Plata, made Buenos Aires its capital, and tightened southern control. The Viceroyalty also covered lands now called Bolivia, Paraguay and Uruguay. When Spanish rule collapsed, this vast unit did not become one nation. It fractured. Colonial society was unequal. Spain-born officials held top offices, while American-born criollos resented imperial limits on their power. Indigenous communities endured dispossession, tribute, forced labor, disease and war. Africans and their descendants shaped Buenos Aires as artisans, laborers, soldiers and vendors. An incomplete 1810 census classified roughly 29% as black or mulatto. Colonial Argentina was indigenous, African, European and mixed, connected by empire yet divided by race, birthplace, status and geography. Then came shocks: British invasion, Napoleon's attack on Spain, and revolution in Buenos Aires. In 1806, Britain captured Buenos Aires. Local militias expelled it, then defeated another invasion. Spain's colony had defended itself without Spain. Victory shifted power. Local leaders now knew what they could do alone. In 1808, Napoleon invaded Spain, removed Ferdinand VII, and installed his brother Joseph. With the king gone, who possessed authority? Across Spanish America, the question spread: who held sovereignty? A captive king, colonial officials, or local people? In May 1810, Buenos Aires removed Viceroy Cisneros and formed the first junta. Revolution had begun, but independence had not. Some governed in Ferdinand's name, others demanded separation. Self-government and independence advanced together, but remained different. Paraguay chose another path. Montevideo stayed royalist. Upper Peru became a battlefield, while the eastern bank followed its own revolution. This was no colony calmly changing flags. One imperial system shattered into competing centres, eventually producing Argentina, Bolivia, Paraguay and Uruguay. On July 9, 1816, the Congress of Tucumán declared independence. The break was official, but words alone could not defeat royalist armies. Spain's strongest South American base remained in Peru. San Martin planned to cross the Andes, liberate Chile, then strike Peru by sea. In 1817, the Army of the Andes left Mendoza, carrying soldiers, animals, weapons, and supplies across brutal passes. After victory in Chile, the campaign turned north by sea toward royalist Peru. The campaign became legend, but independence did not create the Argentina shown on today's maps. For decades, provinces fought over power, trade, and Buenos Aires. Indigenous nations still controlled much of the Pampas and Patagonia. Spanish rule ended, nation building had not. Freedom did not erase Spain's imprint on Argentina's language, laws, cities, names, and institutions. Later, the crossing reversed. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Spaniards arrived not as rulers, but as immigrants, helping reshape Argentina. Football came another way. British-linked railways, schools and clubs spread it. Argentina's first recorded match came in 1867. Spain gave Argentina its language. Britain introduced football. Argentina transformed both through indigenous, African, European and immigrant influences. Messi carried that connection across the Atlantic. Born in Rosario, shaped in Barcelona from 13, yet always representing Argentina. When Spain and Argentina meet, it is no colonial rematch. They meet as sovereign equals, linked by migration, culture, family and sport. An ocean connected them. Silver named Argentina. Revolution turned one empire into many nations. Spain won the final. Argentina won independence. History still marks its language, cities and map. Empires shape borders. People shape nations. Subscribe to the Restless Atlas, where borders shift and mysteries remain.